All right, guys, today's video is going to be on the Docker socket proxies. Okay, it took me a second to kind of get this working just because you would think it's like easy, but of course, like all things, not quite. I had an issue with my jumbo frames, not my jumbo frames, but my IPv6, which kind of like was because of the jumbo frames, but not really. But let's just go ahead and we just go straight to it, right? So, go usual, go to the apps, look for search Docker or Docker proxy, what you want to do. But I had personally used this. This one had seemed like the easiest for me to kind of do. I'm sure they're all the same, but I kind of particularly had like this one. You're going to go ahead and install it. And I'm actually going to do a live test with this one on one of my other servers here because I was recently rebuilding it and I need to get my containers back going. So we're going to go ahead and show it live on this particular video here. All right, so now, all right, let's go ahead and talk about the settings thing, right? So you don't really have to mess with anything default. Of course, you give it whatever name you're going to want to give it. Let me just add it right there because I like to see it this way, right? I left, everything the same. I'm hoping like this was also like the same, so I didn't change it. Sometimes I have a habit of changing those. But everything the same. And then let's talk about the actual these mobs, right? Because these are the actual, I guess what they call it, API endpoints, right? That the proxy is going to allow whatever's connecting to it to use. Okay, so I can tell you right now, right? Because a lot of this stuff you need to make sure is off because you don't really need any of this unless of course you specifically know why, right? The only ones that I knew were like good to use for monitoring purposes especially are things like this one, right? Allow containers endpoint so they can see the containers you have, the events that happen, the images, whatever images is currently like on the system, obviously info, right? And nothing wrong with information, right? The networks, right? The different networks I might have, the nodes. The nodes thing is more for swarms, so you don't really have to enable this, I believe. I did it because at some point I do plan on dabbling with the swarm stuff to learn about it. But of course pings, right? So to make sure the containers are up. What else? Services, right? Yeah, see, I think services and swarm endpoint. I think these are both still swarm related, I believe. Okay, but yeah, the system, task, right? Oh, I know task was definitely one of those, I think. But you got your version, volumes, and then finally the socket. Okay, the socket that you want it to listen to. Let's hit apply. Okay, and one of the things, right, that I'll know would immediately show me it's working is I'm going to use Uptime Kuma for this example here, right? So for Uptime Kuma, you can add your remote your server's like remote Docker sockets to make it easy for you to be able to track them. Okay, so for this one here, I believe is the one I have here, right? All I need to do is just simply hit a test and see, connected successfully. Amount of containers it sees is 3. All right, so we know that is successfully on. So where am I? Oh, back here, right? So cool. All right, that's really it, right? Now, if for whatever reason, right, it doesn't work for you, like I said, I initially had an issue, but it was a network thing. It was just because I had some like really kinky network stuff. They even made my Prometheus scraper cry. But yeah, I was able to kind of resolve those. So, but that's it. That's all you need right there. So now, whenever you got anything that wants to like connect to the Docker socket for monitoring, and you're using it for monitoring purposes, particularly, there you go. Right? You could point it to your server. You point it to that that port number, and you're golden. All good. And that's it. That concludes how to set up a Docker socket proxy on the Unraid server.